Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series.
Hey guys, it's Adam here. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I possibly can because I've been trying to do this video and it keeps ending up being like a half hour long and I just don't want it to be that long. So the short version is there's been some new Shenmue news. I apologize for how many videos of Shenmue and other things you've seen lately. If that's spamming you, I apologize. First bit of news is not super significant. These shirts, which are made by Insert Coin, are currently on sale for 70% off at their website, if that's at all interesting to you. They were also selling the hoodie that's unfortunately out of stock, and the only size left of this is the 3XL, but that's by British scale, which I believe is about 2XL in America. We're fat. And so if you want that, go take a look at that. Next piece up, you guys probably, hopefully, saw some of my videos recently in which I talked about Shenmue might be coming to the PS4 because of a Sony representative named Adam Boyes, whatever his last name is, mentioned that Shenmue is something that's highly requested of them. And that was funny because I had basically said the same thing back in March of 2013. And then a few days later, Sony's Facebook, their magazine, official magazine, posted a poll asking people what they really wanted. And largely in part to you guys, the poll was dominated by Shenmue. It's pretty much a guaranteed victory. So that's all awesome. And on top of all of that, we've had a couple other little pieces of news. People dominated Sony's Twitter, and Sony then actually replied to a guy named Wario64, who I think was his name. It was a simple reply. It was literally like a heart, but that can also be interpreted as a less than 3 symbol, meaning everything is less than Shenmue 3. Don't really know what that means. I mean, I'm assuming it was just a heart. Or, for all we know, the guy who's had access to Sony's Twitter, his cat walked on his keyboard. I have no idea. On top of all of that, and this one's just kind of neat, the Shenmue undub has finally been made public. I did a video about this a little while ago. You can watch that for all the information. In short, it's a version of Shenmue 1 for the Dreamcast where all the English audio has been swapped out with Japanese audio, but you get to have English subtitles, so it plays more like Shenmue 2. It's phenomenal, and I highly recommend you go and grab it while you can. That's all cool, but there is some real solid news here. There is a press conference coming up called the GDC. I believe it's Gamers Development Convention, something like that, and Game Developers Convention, I think is what it is. And Yu Suzuki will be in attendance. Yu Suzuki is the man who made Shenmue. And Mark Cerny is the lead architect of the PS4. He will also be in attendance. And the two of them are going to do a little press conference together to discuss Shenmue. Now, don't get too excited. The two of them are old friends. Now, back in March of 2013, they got together and people started going bananas saying that Shenmue 3 is happening for sure because they took a photo together. At the time, I didn't know this, but as it turns out, they're old friends. They've been working together since the early Sega Genesis / Mega Drive days, the late Sega Master System days around that era, making a bunch of games together. All that's going to happen at this conference, all that we actually really truly know, is that Yu Suzuki will be talking about Shenmue and Mark Cerny will be translating it. That's all we know. That's all that's for sure going to happen. Instantly people speculate, hey, alright, Shenmue 3 or Shenmue HD, etc. We don't know that. Human beings are strange. There could be any number of reasons why they'd be doing this. One, they may not have enough entertainment lined up. They just need something. Two, maybe Yu Suzuki's retiring. I don't think that's the case because he announced a little independent Mighty No. 9 style project he was doing. Maybe to possibly, since he can't secure the rights to Shenmue, he might be going the Mighty No. 9 route and make a spiritual successor to Shenmue. I talked about that briefly before, although if there's any truth to the possibility that Shenmue HD or Shenmue 3 is coming up, I would bet that project gets scrapped. But we don't know. It's also possible that something really, really horrible is happening, and you're like, what? What are you talking about? I don't want this to be true, obviously. It's very morbid, but do some of us remember that Steve Jobs and Bill Gates got together and did the exact same type of thing because Steve Jobs had cancer, and they just wanted to kind of have an on-stage performance together before he left permanently? Either way, it could be Yu Suzuki's way of saying he's bowing out. That's certainly possible. But it could also be exactly the news we've all wanted. We don't know. So all I'm saying is exercise some calm. Don't lose your shit. We don't know anything yet. it's most likely good news. Generally, any Shenmue news other than no Shenmue news is a good sign. So that's kind of it as far as the news goes. Between the two good options of Shenmue HD and Shenmue 3, etc., don't bet on Shenmue 3. Just don't. It's not a bet you'll ever win. I know. I've been betting on it and hoping for it since 2002. Shenmue HD, on the other hand, has a very legitimate chance, but that's further backed up by this machine and by the Sony Corporation. Because I really don't want to go into this because I've done this in the past, but the PlayStation brand is the only one that makes any sense for Shenmue's future. And I always get accused of being a fanboy, which is fucking retarded, because anyone who calls me a fanboy of Sony has never watched anything I've ever done. I intensely dislike the PlayStation brand. I always have. But you have to learn as you grow up to, because most of the people who accuse me of this are generally children. At least I assume so. As if you're an adult accusing me of that, then you need to really mature. The people who accuse you of that typically can't separate their personal preference from fucking reality. If I was going to sit here and say what I really wanted it for, I'd be having a Dreamcast sitting here, and I'd be going, make it for the Dreamcast! The reason I don't do that is it's a ridiculous proposition. It will never come to the Dreamcast. That's ridiculous. It's my favorite console of all time. I don't think anybody would debate that with me. I mean, you may not like it, but no one would debate that it's my favorite. That doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and spout bullshit about how it should come to that, because that's absurd. Every console has a reason for it not to go there that outweighs the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 doesn't have that kind of problem. Its only problem is really that they don't own the rights to it. That's it. That's it. They could pay Sega for the rights, or they could pay to license the rights and pay Sega to make it. That's the only thing stopping them. You know, again, I've broken this down in the past, and the super quick version of this is Microsoft will never function in Japan with the Xbox One. It's never going to happen. And you can't make Shenmue without the Japanese market. So just, if you think that's a possibility, you don't understand Shenmue at all. And you need to stop requesting it. If you think it can come to the Wii U, you don't understand how bad the Wii U's sales are. Shenmue's too much of a risk to put on a console that is not doing well. So just stop with those two. That's not going to happen. The only one that has a chance is the PlayStation 4. I don't know what to tell you. You know, Shenmue HD has the same problem. A lot of people think that Shenmue HD should just be released everywhere, including PCs. I don't want to spend... I could go on about this for like 20 minutes about how that makes no sense, but you got to trust me. If Shenmue HD came out across the board, you can kiss Shenmue 3 goodbye. Because no one... Like anybody like Sony or Nintendo, whoever, would have no interest in investing in Shenmue 3 if they can't also have the rights to Shenmue 1 and 2. It's just... It's ridiculous to think otherwise. If you guys really want me at some point to break down why the remasters across the board make no sense, I could do that, but I don't want to focus on that too much right now. So what I want to say at this point is continue the pressure, because we can go into this convention with a shitstorm of support behind us and really hope that it makes some sort of impact. So what can you do? You can continue doing what you've already been doing. You can go to Facebook. You can vote on that poll. You can do something else too. You can go to Twitter. There's a link in the description as well for this. There is a concept on Twitter called the thunderclap. The idea is that you go to this page and you grant it permission to use your Twitter account for one singular post. And the post basically is sent to Sega and then Sony and says, give you, Suzuki, the license to Shenmue 3 or something to that effect. And if everyone does it, this machine, this bot, essentially sends everybody, sends the same tweet from all of these people all at the exact same moment. Hence a thunderclap. It's not like spyware. There's no bullshit attached to it. It's completely legit. The link is in the description. If you have a Twitter, please do that. Riding that momentum into the convention will be amazing. That's the best chance we've got of any kind of Shenmue HD type of thing happening. And like I said, don't count on Shenmue 3 at the convention. Shenmue HD is possible. The game's already made. It just needs to be, just needs new textures and so on. And if that happens, that's going to be the single test market for the possibility of Shenmue 3. All right? Sega's possible version of testing it everywhere by putting it everywhere is ridiculous, because Sega clearly doesn't use that as a scale. If they did, we'd have Sonic Adventure 3 by now. Even when they're digital exclusives, whatever they are, or they're digital ports if you want to call them that, when they sell really well, they don't make sequels to them. Sega does it as cheap as possible and just slaps it out there. They don't even remake games, they just reuse games. Which is, I'm actually very thankful that Sega never put Shenmue HD out there, because they would have botched the port. I don't doubt that at all. And they wouldn't have used it as Shenmue 3 potential fodder, and then they would have just alienated all potential investors. Because if I'm an investor and I'm kind of considering Shenmue 3, I'm going to be damn sure that I want exclusive rights to Shenmue 1 and 2. That way, gamers who want Shenmue, you need my fucking machine to get the full Shenmue experience. That's just economic realities. I swear to you, there's no fanboyism whatsoever in all of this. As I pointed out, I don't even like PlayStation as a brand, but I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. So that's kind of the end of it. I would very much appreciate it if you guys could vote. You can go to Twitter and you can continue to kick some ass, because the only reason we have anywhere near as much progress as we have is because of you, the viewer, you, for going out and voting, making mention of the fact of Shenmue, making sure that you people know you want it. That is the only thing that has gotten us where we are. And it's the only thing that will continue to get us to where we want to be. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all later.